So this is my 1990s Argentinian-made M95 Detective, which is the only subcompact slash snubby version of the high power ever made. And we are going to upgrade it with a BH spring solution spring pack. So basically this is every spring in the entire gun is being replaced. I have, if we just go ahead and start breaking this sucker down, I have already, I get my lever out here, it's really stiff, so, replaced the recoil spring at some point, because the recoil springs in these, so I got the story behind this gun, whoop, I just flew that across the room. The story on this gun is, I was just looking locally around where I live, and found this for sale. And the guy that had it, I don't really think he knew what it was, slash, I don't think it was working for him. Like, I think it was malfunctioning all the time. Because basically how the Argentinians did this is they shortened the high power recoil assembly and barrel and all that and slide. But to do it, they had to come up with this really funky double recoil spring system. And basically the guide rod and the springs, after a certain amount of time, will just stop working. So it's either amount of time or amount of rounds. I think it's like 2,000 rounds and it's done. You basically have a gun that's never going to cycle correctly again because the springs just weren't good enough. The Argentinians just, this is such a weird kind of, I just want to say like high wear thing that they just couldn't get it to work. So I bought the guide rod assembly and recoil springs from BH Spring Solutions already. So that's that guide rod and recoil spring right there. Now, one of the other things about these guns, which is interesting, is obviously they have little stubby barrels in them because they shortened everything. And these are kind of hit and miss out past a certain yardage. The BH Spring Solution guys, this is BH Spring Solutions right here. So these guys, they say that these kind of just completely lose any semblance of accuracy about 21 yards. Anything past that, and maybe even 221 yards, is kind of like good luck. So they make a barrel, a really nice American-made barrel that will go into these. So that I'm waiting for it not to be on back order. So maybe I can snag one of the barrels at some point. Or I was even thinking, could I just get a nice Belgian-made barrel or something equivalent to that and have a local shop just cut it down for me and recrown it. So if I went onto eBay and bought like a vintage barrel from like a Belgian-made high power, they could probably cut me a barrel. And I don't know why the Argentinian ones aren't accurate. I just don't know why. If anybody wants to give me the technical specs on why that is, then let me know. But so we're just going to replace all the springs. I just spent a little bit kind of looking at how to do this. So it's from right to left that the pins want to come out. I just got to find the right punch here. I also got all the punches from BH Spring Solutions. So I'm not going to bork up anything about this gun because this is a pretty rare gun. So this should, yep, come out pretty easy. So there's the first pin for the slide. I'm gonna put that over there. And that goes to the sear, I believe. I think that's the sear. Yes. And then that's the sear spring. Get the sear spring out of there. I might have to get a little baby punch to coerce it out of here. There it is. Okay, so that's the sear and the sear spring. So that's the first one. So then this is the spring kit I bought from them. And it's pretty cool because it actually came with several replacements for the recoil spring assemblies. So you can see it's like this wacky double spring thing on that guide rod. And the original springs, they just wore out real quick, and then the gun would stop functioning. So that's going back to the original story. The guy I bought this from, he just wanted Glock money, so that's what I paid him for it. And I think it's because this gun was malfunctioning all the time, and I don't think he knew why. Nor do I think he wanted to figure out why. So he sold it to me for what I would consider a good deal for what this is. This definitely did not pay high power money for it. So that's the sear lever spring, which I think is that spring right there. So let me just make sure. It's the trigger optimizing spring kit. Those are housing, or yeah, what are these? Yeah, hammer spring. That's the firing pin spring. We're going to need that one for when we take the firing pin out. Okay, though, this is what we need. Okay, so extractor spring, magazine latch spring, safety lever spring. Okay, we probably need those at some point. Yeah, we're going to need the extractor spring. Yeah, out of that bag. Make sure I got all my springs. So, that is the sear. Yeah, that's the sear. And I just want to see. So it just kind of chills out right in there. Okay. Yep. So then when I popped that pin out. Okay, cool. Okay, get it back out of there. I've never actually taken one of these. I've never taken this gun or the other. I have a FM95 Classic, and this is the Detective. The FM95 Classic is just a full-size Argentinian made one. People sell the Argentinian made and like other ones for pretty inexpensively, just because I don't think they understand that these guns were made on the same tooling. Like, there's not a whole lot of difference. That's not true. I'm not going to say that completely. There's a little bit of difference. Obviously, the springs on actual Belgian-made ones aren't completely just deciding. I think I'm on the right thing now. Yep, okay. That was way easier. Imagine that. Okay. I don't know if these pins are any different from each other, but I'm going to keep that one over there. And then the extractor should just, yep, there she is. So there's the extractor. And then the extractor spring is right here. I might have to get a knife for that, or something pokey. Something pokey. A knife. Oh, not any knife. A stupid knife. Okay. Beautiful. All right. Put the big old poker over there. So, now the only thing we have left is to take this out. Make sure you're actually still in frame here. You are. You can see what I'm doing. So this is kind of iffy here because you kind of have to. There we go. Okay. So I don't want this to fling at my face and like across the room. So yeah, we're gonna do this. Yep. There we go. Okay, so there's my firing spring, or my firing pin, sorry, and my firing pin spring. Beautiful. So there's that. All right, so that's completely disassembled. So now I'm not going to completely disassemble the whole gun in one go. I'm going to put it back together as I go here. So we're going to immediately throw in the new firing pin spring, which I just want to see the difference here. Okay, it's a little longer, but usually these kind of compress a little bit when they start getting used. So I'm going to assume, yeah, I'm just going to drop that bad boy down in there, drop that down in there, and then yeah, this is where it gets weird. This is where it gets weird, I'm guessing. Now, I bought all their tools. I bought all the tools from BH Spring Solution too. So all these punches came from them. And I bought one of their little kits to be able to do this too. Yeah, firing pin retaining plate. Oh boy. So, How do you boys want me to use this thing? Removing the firing pin. Oh, okay. This might not be that necessary. This is just for removing. I think this is just for removing. There we go. Boom! Ha-ha! I did it. All right. So that's one spring replaced, and we can just test that bad boy really quick. Oh, yeah. Nice and stiff. Nice, stiff firing pin spring. So now we will put the extractor back in with a fresh extractor spring. I'm going to get a little toothbrushy thing over here. I got toothbrush to clean guns, and I'm just going to clean the extractor pin. This is the old nasty extractor spring, so I need to find the new extractor spring in here, which I'm guessing is the short one. Extractor spring, magazine latch spring, safety lever spring. Yes, okay. So I'm going to go for the one that makes the most sense here for it to be the extractor spring, which I think is going to be that one right there, because it's the most similar in size and loops. So I'm going to go for that one. So that bad boy is the one that makes sense to me. Okay. That goes down in there. And the extractor here has to get lined all back up. I've done this type of work on my Smiths. I've done a lot of work on Smith & Wesson Model 59s, trying to get old police guns to function again. Sadly, nobody like BH Spring Solution really exists for guns like this. Like, the high power is pretty beloved, but the 59, it's kind of obscure. So it came out this way, so it should go back in this way. The pin, I mean. Okay. How am I supposed to do this? Oh, perfect. Okay, that actually worked. That was a gamble. Okay, so I got it in the hole of the extractor, so now I should be able to kind of get it all to line up for me. This is definitely a multi-person. I need like 3 hands to do this, because I don't see how I'm gonna get that to... I mean, that is the punch for this, so I just need to get it back in there. Okay, I just wanted... I've screwed things up before, and pins, roll pins, and 30-year-old guns is scary. Okay. All right. That's back in there. New extractor spring. All right. So far, so good. New firing pin spring, new extractor spring. Okay, now the sear lever needs to go back in. All right, here's the sear lever spring. All right, you go down in there. Which side of this do you think that's the right side? Okay, it's not. Okay, that goes back down in there. This obviously goes back down in only really one orientation, I think, like this. Yes, cool beans. And then it went right to left, so I smacked it out this side, so it should go back in left to right. Oh boy. It might. Okay, it's going in. Just lightly tapping it back in here. Okay. The problem is going to be I have no idea where that little hole is. It's somewhere in there. I guess I just gotta kind of slightly wing it here. Where's that punch? Okay. Slightly wing it. Try this punch. Okay, so that's too far, but I can see where the holes need to line up. Yes, okay. So I'm going to put this back through and just give it a little tap back over. A little more. A little tiny bit more. Beautiful. So now I should be able to drop this back down in there. Come on. Beautiful. Okay. So now I gotta kind of, oh boy, how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do this, boys? All right. Let me see if that's not lining up. Oh, it did. Oh, no way. I got that in the first try. Holy moly, it did. That's that pinhole. Okay. Yeah. All right. So we're on the money here. So this little thing now should be, yes, brand new spring. Ooh. Beautiful. And now to make sure that I put that back in the right way, because I don't think I probably could put it in the wrong way, but just in case, you know, just in case I put it in the wrong freaking way, because you know how that goes. Let's just pop out the old standard model here, which is also going to get new springs, and just make sure that that sear bar is in the right spot. Okay, good. Just making sure. You never know. All right. You never know. Basically the little, oh. All right. Basically the little tooth, this little tooth right here on the sear, you probably can't see that very much. There's a little tooth. The tooth needs to be facing up. So, of course, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So we'll see. All right. So that's the slide. Replaced all the springs. So now we can put the slide back together completely and move on to the to the frame. Gotta remember how to put all this back together the right way. It's kind of finicky. No, I might have got that in backwards. I think I did. So this is kind of where this is kind of jank, this recoil system on this gun. This new recoil rod and everything is pretty amazing. Nope, I got that backwards. Okay. But it really is, you can actually put the gun together the wrong way and shoot it the wrong way and potentially wreck the gun. So you really got to make sure that that is in the right way. Or you'll potentially wreck the gun. So that's my slide, now completely refurbished with new springs. That is beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So, moving on to the frame now. Frame time. So, also invested, just get the right tools. I've learned this. I have gunsmithing screwdrivers. I bought all sorts of stuff just to do it the right way, tools wise, because I'm tired of borking flathead heads and, you know, pinholes and All sorts of stuff like that. This gun, I don't think has ever probably been taken fully apart since it came from the factory in like the 1990s. So, you know what? It's probably not the worst thing ever to just have it be renewed here. I love seeing all this stuff work out of the gun, you know what I'm saying? But, oh, I just want to see. Yeah, it's cool how all this works. It's really fun. Okay, so first things first, I guess, is to get that sear spring out of there. But we have to get the sear out first. And the sear, okay, yeah, okay, it's that pin right there. There's a pin. You cannot see it, but there's a pin right in there. And I'm going to need to get that pin started somehow. Which will probably, and I don't know, sometimes, oh, okay, it just wants to come right out. Good, so I don't have to smack it. But the hammer is going to want to like fling out. So we're going to hold the hammer, push that pin out. There's the hammer coming forward. That's fine. Didn't smack anything. There's the sear. And we got to pull out. Shoot, we don't want to do that. Don't do that. Okay, and we want this out. We want that out. Beautiful. So now that's out. Okay. So now we need to take the safety. I have ambidextrous safeties, so it's got a pin, a tiny little pin. I'm guessing it's like this bad boy right here. That's on my safety lever. Yep. So we'll have to just kind of see if that will come out with minimal asking. Just come out. Beautiful. Okay. So it came out nice and easy. So there's this pin. Boop. Nice small pin. I'm actually making sure I'm recording this. I am. So this should now just wiggle off of this. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yeah, this bad boy's stiff. Okay, cool. So there's that. So now all that's forward. This should just come out as well, in theory. Yep, there it comes. All right, so now everything's gonna fall out of it. Okay. And then all this is probably just gonna fall out. Yep. Yep. Okay. Beautiful. All right, as I said, just get the screwdrivers. This is just a Wheeler screwdriver kit for gunsmithing, for all this weirdness. Find the little thing, the little latch. However this wants to rotate forward for me like that, so I can take the safety out. Beautiful. And then we're going to take this out actually because I have a new safety spring. All right, so there's the safety latch spring, which is in here. Safety lever spring. Okay, so it's probably this bad boy right here. Right here. Big boy. That goes back in. Just going to replace it just immediately. Put that back in. And we'll just put this right back in the gun because that's easy to replace. And then we'll move on. There it is. All right. and we didn't bork it because we did the right screwdrivers. I've done that on 1911 before, where I've just totally trashed this this thing right here.
So this might be one of the best tools I have ever seen ever. So to get the hammer spring off, right?
How are you gonna do that? It's literally
has a pin. It's threaded, has a pin, and is under pressure. So you have to somehow compress this with your finger. It's just not. I don't even know how you do this without some sort of tool. So look at how this is genius. I love stuff like this.
Yeah. All right. So. Yeah. Okay. I did it the wrong way. So it's in there now, right?
And it's going to use how the hammer works in the gun to uncompress that spring so that you can unthread this little nut enough to be able to knock out the pin that's holding the nut on.
So let me get one of my little punches here and get this pin out of there.
Little tiny pin holding that nut on.
So now that pin's out.
So now you can unthread this threaded nut.
And just like that, we can replace the hammer spring. So then we decompress, unhook,
and there's the old hammer spring
that's going to be replaced.
That is a genius tool.
Oh my gosh. That is like what I live for right there. I don't really know. I have a 32 pound, a 26 pound, and a 30 pound. I think I might just go middle of the road and go 30 pound on this. I don't really know. Yeah, I might just go 30 pound on this. Just, when in doubt, go down the middle. All right, so I need to go up higher. There we go. There we go. Decompress. Get the little nut. Thread my nut back on. It needs to be threaded down far enough that I can get my pin back through. Take the little tiny pin, which I can barely see, poke it back through the hole, and so this isn't, don't use metal tools with metal. I'm breaking rules right now, but I need to unthread this just a smidge, and it's too tight for my fingers, so. Okay, now it's back where it needs to be. And just like that, there is
the hammer spring
replaced. That's another old spring.
Beautiful. That tool was worth the price of the kit alone right there. That tool was worth the price. The kit alone was like $100.
It was actually $100 for the tool kit and a spring kit. So, or no, how did I do that? Oh yeah, it was $100. It was $100 for the tool kit. It was $50 for a spring kit. But yeah, that right there, that was worth price of admission right there. Worth it. Buy the kit just for that tool, and the punches make this a million times easier too. Wow, that is beautiful. So now, okay, so that's the next spring. So this little spring right in here for the safety, which the safety did feel a little squishy. Yep. So this, yep, there's a spring down in there. So this is exactly like a 1911 to a certain degree. Give me this spring. Cough it up. Okay. I don't know where that went. That just flung to the high heavens. So then this is the safety spring right here. Okay, so I put the right springs in the right holes. Good. All right. I'll probably find that spring eventually, or I will never find it again, which is fine. So then now this spring goes back down in there. And let me actually make sure. Okay, it is the same on either side, so I'm not putting it in a certain way. Good. Okay, that goes down in there. This goes on top of it. Oh yeah, that feels so much better. This gun is gonna be so crisp. So crisp. New springs. Beautiful. Sorry, we're just taking the trigger pin out here. So I already smacked it, so this is really cool. So BH Spring Solutions, again, just buy their tools. So this is for the trigger pins on high powers are kind of stiff. So it's got a little rubber grommet on it and a coned punch head that will sit on top of that pin, so you can smack it pretty hard and then it'll just hit that rubber grommet. You won't screw up the finish on your gun, and then you can drive that pin the rest of the way out with a regular punch once it's out. So these are kind of stiff, so it's nice having that. Yeah, and you can kind of see maybe a little bit that's kind of domed. So the domed side is the side that this kind of wants to sit on, like that. So good tool, good tools. So, oh, and there is the trigger bar. I believe that's what that's called. Okay, so I'm back. I was true. Okay, so I was right. Okay, so there is in this pack, basically, there is the magazine disconnect spring, which is that bad boy right there, I believe. And then there is a 3-loop spring and a 2-loop spring. And if you look into here, you can see the 3 loops, 1, 2, 3. This is the original spring. So I'm going to punch this out, and I'm going to put in a new spring, a new trigger spring here. This is actually, looks to me to be pretty, yeah, that came out pretty easy. That's nice. So this looks to be pretty, I mean, it is 20 years old, or more than that. I mean, maybe more than that. 20-something years old. So if we get the springs that I'm gonna use out of here, so there's that one, and there's that one. If we read the back of this, so tactical trigger reset spring. The spring is heavier. 2-coil tactical trigger reset spring. The spring is heavier than the regular trigger springs and provides a more authoritative trigger reset. Excellent for tactical and carry uses. Okay, 3-coil target trigger spring. This spring's lighter trigger pull while retaining sufficient reset for preference for some shooters to carry. Okay, so I'll probably put the more stiff trigger. I just want, the thing is this gun, that original spring, which is this one, you can tell the difference pretty easily by just the difference in like how they're made. If you can see that kind of down there, they're just different. These are the two BH Spring Solution springs. This is the original factory spring. The original factory spring has a 3-loop spring in it. That's a 3-loop spring. That's a 2-loop spring. But you can tell that the 2-loop spring is higher gauge wire. At least it seems like it's higher gauge wire. Maybe it's the same, but I don't know how they get it stiffer. Yeah, it seems like higher gauge wire. So I'm going to put the stiffer one in because I want mechanical reset. It has a horrible mechanical reset right now, so I don't like it. So we're just going to throw this back in there. Okay, that pin played ball. Nice and easy. I like that. I like that. Get a little love tap. So that's back in there. That's a new trigger spring. That's awesome. So I'm going to put this. This is the good one if I ever want to put a lighter spring in there. Okay, put that back in there. This is the old nasty one. Put it over there in the pile of old nasty ones. So now we're just going to put it back together. So how I'm going to guess this is going to go back together the easiest way for me. Probably. Am I filming this? I am. Good. I'm filming this. That's good. So we're going to throw this. Did I get it? Did I get it? Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Okay, it's now in properly. Okay. Trigger pin. Trigger is in. Ooh, I can already feel the difference on that bad boy. Wow. Way better. Way better. All right, trigger and magazine springs are in and replaced. The disconnect has already been ripped out of this gun before I even did it, so I don't even have the parts to put the disconnect back in this gun. So now we're gonna put the rear of the gun back together. I'm just fiddling with this. So I have this kind of lined up in here, so the new spring on the hammer, and we have the hammer in here, and this is the ejector, I believe, and it needs to go in this direction, like this. Let me see really quick. There's like a cutout on that side, but let's see. Yeah, it has to go in like this, right? Yeah, that's the way it sits in the gun. Oh shit, what was that? Oh shit.
Okay, well, I will find that now.
Yeah, I just went and found this, so that just flew across the room. So much fun. So that was not fun. I had the ejector kind of in the wrong orientation when putting this back together. And again, my the little detent for the safety detent and spring. I'm glad I found it. It's tiny, and you know, I'm glad it didn't like fall apart when it flew across the room, because finding that spring would have been a pain in the ass. Across the room this time. Oop, there it is. Okay. Yep, so I had this in the wrong orientation. I had the ejector in the wrong orientation, and then so now it's in the right orientation. So now, ooh, that's crispy. Oh, there's nothing like. I replaced the springs on my 1911 as well, and it still feels so much better. Oh, new springs. New springs. Beautiful. Okay, cool. So now I am guessing I have to move on from here to the sear, because the sear is what holds that hammer back. So get my ambidextrous safety back on here. So this is kind of annoying. So I kind of started it on the pin on this thing, and then I'm going to try to my very best, to line this up in one go, and then kind of just... Oh, I might have got really lucky there. I think I did. I think I lined it up good the first time and got real lucky, because that could have been really fiddly. Really fiddly. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yep, okay. So, ambidextrous safety's back in with the new spring, which feels amazing. So crisp, so clicky. Crisp and clicky. Okay, so now on to the hardest thing to do, which is to put the sear spring, the sear, and the pin that holds that all in there back together. But BH Spring Solutions makes tools, which are amazing. So they call this their third hand tool. And I guess what it's meant to do is go on like that. And it holds the hammer back for you. And it's just this little piece of metal with some rubber boots on it. So obviously this is for a different model of high power, and this is for like a more traditional high power. And it's just gonna hold that back for me. So, oh, I should probably have it hold. Let me see, do they have it holding the ejector back? They do. Okay, so the ejector needs to come back as well. Ouch. Okay, okay. All right, so all this needs to come back. Ouch. Yeah, this would be a pain in the ass to do. Okay, so I'm gonna hold the ejector like that. Try to bring the hammer back. Oh, I don't know how to do this. You need three hands. That's why this is called the third hand tool. Okay, I'm just gonna do this, do that, make sure the ejector's back. Good. Okay, so now that's holding as my third hand. The ejector, all that's being held back, so it won't smack me, because there's that pin right here that everything has to go through. So this is the, yes. So this is the sear, which indexes off the hammer, and everything has to go back in here. So let me just go look at how that's done now that I've shown what this tool is for, which is amazing. This tool makes this stupid easy, because you'd have to, oh my god, you need three hands to do this without that piece of metal retaining that hammer back. So I have the sear spring in, I have the sear sitting in there, And I just basically got to make sure everything is going to line up for me. And I just, don't put, okay, shit. It's bad for you. Okay, so the pin should now be fairly easy. Ow, that is a tough spring, man. See, your spring is, I'm going to get my thumb on it. So just got to get everything beautifully lined up here. God, I don't even, you could not do this without that tool, without three. Oh my God, that was so easy. My goodness. Okay. Hammer spring tool, the third hand, hold the hammer back tool. Man, good stuff. Good stuff. Because now that's all back together. And yep, it works. Beautiful. Holy moly. So this should all go back together really easy now. Because all I got to do is put my grip panels back on and put the slide back on. Because I have no more, that's all the springs. That's all the springs. Ooh, this was a learning experience. This was fun. I'm going to go do it to the other gun. Figured I'd just show it on my gun. Because it made it easy to show it on one gun. So we'll just quickly put this sucker back together. So this gun is one of the keepers right here. One of the keepers. Gotta keep the high powers around. Gotta keep them alive. I really wish that somebody did this, like, amount of, you know, retooling of like springs and stuff for like the Smiths, but nobody cares about the Smiths. So you gotta look on eBay for like new old stock parts and like all the old surplus website part things, you know, for everything. Don't need to be too tight, just need to keep my grip panels on. Okay. Okay, now where's my slide? Where'd I put it? Probably under something. There it is. All right. So slide's going on. Put that back there, like that. Put this back through here, like this. Ooh, don't put couches in the slide like a dummy. Then drop this, drop that. Let's see. Ooh, it actually has a mechanical reset now. Yeah, I had 0 mechanical reset before. Beautiful. Wonderful. So there you go. There's a 1990s Argentinian made FM M95 Detective High Power with all new springs. Every single spring has been replaced with good stuff. Good springs. Find the old magazine here. Magazine. This is Metgar. Good old Metgar. Yep. Beautiful. 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 Thanks for watching. There you go. Buy these tools. This thing right here. This thing right here. This thing too, if you wanted to, I mean, taking the firing pin things out, but those tools, man, those tools make this so easy. So worth it. So we're just testing. I have the old snubby high power out here today, and I've completely rebuilt this gun now, basically, besides the barrel. So it's got all new springs. Every spring is being replaced, and it's just functioning beautifully. I sadly don't have my tripod, so it's going to be a little jank, but we're going to I'm just seeing how it patterns at 21 yards. So that paper IPSC at 21 yards, and mind you, I'm really bad at shooting, so pistols, I should say. So we're gonna see just how it groups one-handed here, so I can actually get some footage. Oh, safety on. I'm just holding center of mass, 5 rounds. That was 4 or think I only have like 6 or 7 left in this mag. I really jerked that last one. We're empty. So it was 8 rounds in that mag that was left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 2 of those went off somewhere over his shoulder. So that was offhand. That's not me doing very good in terms of controlling. Again, I don't have my tripod, so that's about as good as you're gonna get. One-handed shooting for me. But yeah, that gun shoots really nice, and it feels brand spanking new nowadays with all those nice shiny new springs.